You know Reverend Esther Ajayi, then you should know that she's a less troubled person. You should know that Reverend Esther Ajayi is someone who does not have issues. She's just this type of person whom, no matter what happens, they are just there. Don't want to make it to the news, no matter what happens. But yeah, this woman has one of the biggest white garment churches. How does she stay off the news? There was a time we saw her on CNN. She was being on a live interview where her home was visited and every single thing. And during that interview, she mentioned people whom have proven to her that mentorship is what practicing. And she mentioned Olori Naomi, how Naomi has grown into a beautiful and amazing woman with an electrifying soul. She said these things on a news, and everybody was just pleased with actually what Naomi has turned her life into for her own good and that of her family. But that is not the big thing there. Reverend Esther Ajayi is reaching out to Olori Naomi right now to tell her that, see, when goals don't align, you don't force it. If every single thing happening in the palace does not align, if every single thing happening in the palace does not pick up the way it should, then you should not force it. Now, why is she saying this? Olori Naomi's mother is objecting Naomi's return back into the palace. Not like she's categorically objecting it. She's more on an opinion that they cannot overlook these women's excesses. They cannot overlook what they are capable of. They cannot even overlook their potentiality of being harmful and what they carry and every single thing that they owe to portray it. Yes, they cannot overlook it all of a sudden and say that, oh, it's fine, Naomi should just return back into the palace. And Reverend Esther Ajayi is saying that when all of these things pose a threat, you should be quite conscious of them. Now, Reverend Esther Ajayi is not saying that, oh, Naomi, you're not going to return back into the palace. So the woman is being very, very technical, that she says what is on her mind, but she doesn't point hands and say that, oh, this is it, do it like this. What has Olori Naomi's mom seen that she's insisting that Tedenekawo doesn't return back into the palace? It is something to reckon on. What did Naomi see in the first place that she said her son was not coming back into the palace? It is also something to look into. You cannot wave these things off and then say that, oh, it's nothing. You cannot wave them off. These things are very, very vital. These things are crucial. These things are very, very important. There are things that are worth looking into. And believe me or not, if they just wave them off, they say that, oh, it's nothing. Tedenekawo should come back, and that boy happens to walk back into an environment that does not favor him, it will turn into something else completely. Yes, we know that the elders fought at some point that Tedenekawo needs to come back and learn the ways of his people. We know that. We know that there was even a point where they even waged a war concerning Tedenekawo returning back into the palace. We know they are doing all of these things because it is important. It is very, very important that Tedenekawo returns back into the palace. Yes, we know. We know how these things work. We know why they are doing it. And we know why Naomi is insisting that her son does not come back into the palace. But does another person understand Naomi in that perspective? We know very well what these women are capable of. We know very well what these women can do. We know very well that these women, they don't have conscience. They just act anyway. So no matter what happens, and let it just happen. You understand? That's the kind of person they are. They don't think of consequences that comes out of stuffs. All they know is that, well, we are going to do it anyway, and whatsoever happens, so let it happen. People don't behave like that. People don't do things like that. That is just the truth. And speaking about realities, speaking about what is meant to happen, we know very well, very, very well that a lot will happen when Naomi will come back into the palace. So Tedeneka will walk into the mother's room on a certain morning, then he will find charms, red clothes tied around the pot, cats dead. All of those things, they don't speak right. And we know very well that things that these women do. So Reverend Esther Ajayi is telling Olori Naomi, in plain terms, that, see, Naomi, when goals don't align, you let it go. And she's not saying that don't come back. Oh, no, 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 no. But if it doesn't suit your son returning back into the palace, please don't force that boy to come back into an environment that would not favor him. Because it seems that no matter how these things goes, Naomi would still bring that boy back into the palace anyway. Because, the husband, the father to the boy, has actually given an assurance that come back, nothing would happen. Yeah, she has. So if any single thing she does now will seem like a big disobedience at her own end, yes, it will seem like a very, very big disobedience. And nobody will want to be tagged that disobedient wife. Certainly not Naomi. Naomi will not want to be tagged the disobedient wife. So she has to at least hear Ooni's view as well. And once she begins to ignore Ooni's view, and then she starts insisting that and this is the end of it. Everybody will say that there is no unity between Olori Naomi and the Ooni. Those people don't even have an understanding. There is this, there is that. A lot will pull out. A lot and a lot will pull out. And that is exactly what Naomi has been trying to avoid over years. That is exactly what Olori Naomi has been trying to avoid over a long period of time. When these women begin to capitalize on things that don't exist, when they begin to hold on to things that are not even there, things that doesn't make sense, because it seems like now that's what these women are holding on to. It seems like now that is what they even love the most. That part where they would drag Naomi by the head and say that, we were saying it, people thought we were joking. We said it, you put forward. You understand all those kind of things. And no matter what it is, believe me or not, Olori Naomi is doing her best. Naomi is doing every single thing within her power that what happens in the life of her son is being controlled. That someday that thing will not control the boy. But nobody will understand that part. So right now, Reverend Esther Ajayi has spoken. When the goals don't align, let it go. So let's see how this whole thing will play out.